Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by investor, lawyer, and author. He's the former vice president of Goldman Sachs, director at Lehman Brothers, and his book, From Wall Street to the White House and Back, the Scaramucci Guide to Unbreakable Resilience. We welcome Anthony the Mooch Scaramucci.
Hey, great to be on with you. Thank you so much.
Anthony, let's go beyond the mic. You've tackled adversity like no other. You've won big, lost big, and fought through it all. Why was writing this book important for you?
I wrote the book for my kids, Sean. I have 5 of them. And I have found that when I've read other people's memoirs or books, a lot of glossing over of things. And I wanted my children to see the mistakes that I've made, my shortcomings, my ego-based weaknesses. I think it was important to share that. And maybe somebody could learn from it. Maybe someone else that could read the book could learn from it. But for me, I find that if you're willing to be vulnerable with your children, you give them space to succeed or fail, doing what they want, as opposed to feeling that they're overshadowed by a dad or a mom who's had a pretty, public career.
You have 25 lessons in your book. What was lesson 26?
It's funny because I had 50, Sean, and my editor chopped it to 20, and I added 5 at the end. She got mad at me. But I would say that the big lesson that I left out, which, I think everybody knows intuitively, is that a lot of stuff is outside of your control. And I think that I could sit here and tell you, get up, have a gratitude list, attack the day, eat right, exercise, all the stuff that people tell you. But I think a lot of things are out of your control. Let's just start out by your birth. You didn't pick your parents. You didn't pick your sexuality. You didn't pick location of your birth, all these different things. Also, the good Lord of the universe bestowed you with skills. Some of us are great athletes and we can play in the Major League Baseball or basketball, and some of us obviously are not. I'm a vertically challenged guy, Sean. I don't know about you, but I've got other attributes. I guess the point is there are so many things in life that are outside of your control. Rule 26 would be embrace that part of life. Don't be angsted up about that. Just try to deal with that the best way that you can, because you're just here on a journey. As Mel Brooks says, and I write this in the book, relax. None of us are getting out of here alive. It's one of the all-time great lines about how to handle life.
Anthony the Mooch Scaramucci, his book is From Wall Street to the White House and Back, the Scaramucci Guide to Unbreakable Resilience is the book. Anthony Scaramucci joins us for the Rockin. Anthony, all this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is no pressure. What's your favorite memory from your time at Harvard Law?
Favorite memory was, probably bragging. I don't mean to be bragging, but I got an A- from Larry Tribe in Con Law. That was my favorite memory. That was the best grade I got there, by the way. Other grades were more or less not that good.
You have a bookshelf full of books in your library. Other than yours, what's the last one you read?
The last one I read was The Light of Battle by Michelle Paradis. It's a best-selling book out right now about Eisenhower and D-Day.
It's time for the hardest question in the Rockin'. It's yes, no, or maybe. Private equity has the potential to ruin business.
Yes.
Anthony, what's the best thing about your uncle?
He was kind. He was a kind man who saw a lot of death in his life. He was obviously, we're referring to my uncle who was on Normandy Beach, 348th Army Corps of Engineers, first to land on Omaha Beach. And he's decorated Purple Heart recipient.
If you could do one thing to address the budget deficit, what would it be?
A long-term plan. You need a 25-year plan, and you need a bipartisan commitment to spending caps and appropriate taxation for the country. Right now, we have a lot of unfunded tax liability in the form of deficit spending. We need to right-size that. But you need a 25-year plan, Sean. You'll never fix that with a gimmick overnight. But you could fix that if you were willing to commit 25 years to it.
Anthony, as a good Italian, what's the one secret ingredient in your mom's gravy?
Oh, man, she'll kill me for telling you this. But how about, are you ready?
I gotta ask.
Ready? Domino sugar.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the best thing on the menu at the Hunt and Fish Club?
Well, the best thing on the menu is the tomahawk steak But the second best thing on the menu is we do have my mom's old-fashioned meatball, now that you're mentioning my mom. And you can get a meatball. It's not on the menu, but you got to go and ask for it, and they'll make it for you. Sort of an underground menu, Sean.
You believe in living life to its fullest. What's the number one thing still on your bucket list to do?
I want to go. I want to go to Antarctica. Haven't been. I want to get there.
It's time for One Big Question with author of From Wall Street to the White House and Back, the Scaramucci Guide to Unbreakable Resilience. Anthony Scaramucci, be on the mic. Anthony, what's the best way to handle this hyper-partisan world we live in now?
Well, you gotta speak to the middle, frankly, and I think most of us live there, and so you have to ignore the noise. I mean, when I put out something on Twitter that's very moderate, I get attacked by both sides, and I think what your grandmother told you is the best of all things to listen to in this hyper-partisan environment, and that is what other people think of you is none of your business. I want you to just think about that, okay? Just ignore the noise, be yourself, and be true to yourself, and good things will happen.
There's an old-fashioned secret menu at the Hunt and Fish Club. Bookmark this podcast to remember what's the secret to his mom's gravy.
She's going to be mad at me, man. She's going to be mad at me, Sean. You got me in trouble, man.
And he wants you to read From Wall Street to the White House and Back, the Scaramucci Guide to Unbreakable Resilience. Anthony the Mooch Scaramucci, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Good to be here.
And that, my friends, is I'll be on the mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.